Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and I hope everyone who's in the US is enjoying their Thanksgiving weekend and had a great day yesterday. So, today I wanted to talk about a song analysis. I want to do Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, and then I wanted to talk about some of my lessons learned this week, and then talk about what's next and things to think about in the coming weeks. So let's dive right into the first topic, which is the how my week went and some of the things that I learned. So last week I talked about, or I guess it was a couple weeks ago, in one of my videos I talked about focusing on just 3 songs. And so what I ended up doing is I picked 3 songs and I've been playing those every single day for the last week. And it definitely has had a positive impact on being able to perform those a lot better. And so I hope that you will give that a try in the coming weeks and give that 3 song a week or 3 song a day for 7 days and see how that works for you. I'd be interested to hear how your practice is going. And if you want to share that in the comments, that would be great. And then another thing that I learned this week was that I had put some new strings on my classical guitar, and I have tried to tune it and spent a lot of time adjusting, and it's still not sounding right. So I think what happened is I chose a different kind of string that I had not used in the past that is for classical guitar, but just doesn't seem to work the same. So I have ordered another set of strings, and I will be replacing the strings a second time. So I guess my tip for the week is if you are going to change the strings, make sure that you use either the original factory strings or you know what you're getting. In my case, I just didn't know it was going to have that much of an impact. It looked kind of like the same type of string. The description was very similar, and there wasn't really a way for me to know. But in my case, the strings really vibrate a lot more than the previous ones. And so when you're trying to play, the string is just vibrating all over the place. And so it's really difficult. And strumming is impossible. So I'm not exactly sure what these strings are intended for, but clearly not for what I needed it for. So I have gone ahead and done that. So just think about that when you're due for changing the strings, or in my case, I actually thought about taking it to a professional and have them do it because it has been a little bit of a frustration not understanding the implications of those strings. The other thing that I did this week is that on, I guess, the day before Thanksgiving, I was just playing around with writing a song, and I wrote a song about Thanksgiving, and my intention was to have kind of an upbeat song and have it be more positive. And I chose a couple chords to play for the song, and I made the mistake. I was using an A7 chord, which I think it just kind of didn't have it definitely wasn't a positive, I guess, didn't add anything positive to my song. And since I only had 2 chords, I didn't really have a lot to work with there. So I think what I learned was that when you do an upbeat song, think about how that's going to fit into your, the emotion that you want to have for the song, and take that into consideration. And I did try to do that, but sometimes when you're at the beginning, you're thinking, oh, okay, this will work. And then as I started to build out the song, actually the lyrics for the song came out also a little bit, I don't want to say down, but a little more not upbeat. Like I just wanted like a happy Thanksgiving song, and it didn't come out like that at all. And I had really wanted to create a song and then share it on Thanksgiving. That didn't happen either because, again, like I kind of got stuck in this mood, and I spent time creating a song that just didn't fit what I was looking for. The positive thing about that, or the positive spin on that, is, well, at least I tried to write something. And, you have to write a lot of bad songs to write a good one. So I don't feel like in the end it was really time wasted. Each song you write is a learning experience. So if you're in the I guess, the mode of thinking you want to write some songs, keep that in mind, that it's okay to have some duds as you go through the process. Each time you'll learn a little bit more. So those are my reflections on the week, and I hope some of those were helpful for you. I do want to talk about the song Sweet Caroline, and this was actually one of the songs that I chose to sing every day, or it's one of the 3 songs that I've been singing every day. And this song is from 1969, and it was written by Neil Diamond. And what I learned about the song, and this is a song, I would say most people have heard of this song in one way or other. And it was inspired by Caroline Kennedy. And while it was inspired by her, the actual emotion of the song came from Neil Diamond's wife at the time, Marcia. And that was kind of an interesting thing to think about as you're creating songs. You can take words, or like in this case, a name, and just replace the emotion with someone else. So you can sing it in a way, so you have this emotional connection, but some of the, like, who it's about can be more nebulous, or it can be really almost like a vague, who is Caroline? And so it can be a little bit different. I think a lot of people, when you hear them sing a song, you think, oh, it's about some specific person with that name, but it can be that that was just the name that seemed to fit into the song, or maybe it rhymed with something else. And so that is kind of a fun thing to think about, that just because it has the person's name, it doesn't mean it's about that person. And so it can be emotions about some other person. The other thing about this song, so let's dive into, I kind of talked about at a high level who inspired it, and then what it's like, how it came about, or how it was sort of combined with these 2 pieces, the name and the inspiration, and then the emotion. So the other thing is the lyrics. So in reviewing the lyrics, the song sort of tells a bit of a story about the first part of the song. The verse has the word loneliness, and it talks about, so not sure where it began, and the idea of loneliness. And then as you go through the song, it kind of talks about this connection, and this idea of, like, even in some of the words I think it's in the chorus, where it's like reaching out, touching me, touching you. And it's this idea of connecting with other people. So you kind of go through this lonely and then connecting with other people process. And I think that brings out a good point about songwriting, that you do need to think about, the storytelling element, that you need to start at the beginning in one place and then move either the character or the feeling to something else. So going from this feeling of loneliness to then, reflecting on a positive relationship. But a lot of songs do have something similar, where you're progressing, and it's that story, pulling someone through the story. There are a lot of songs that don't follow that model, but that is kind of an interesting thing to think about. And then one thing that I noted in the notes about the song, so I sort of talked about that Caroline it was inspired by Caroline Kennedy, who was John F. Kennedy's daughter, and a picture of her when she was a child, I guess. And that it became more like an idyllic person, or an idealist person. So it could be anyone. So it's kind of strange, because I recently did an analysis of Blue Bayou by Roy Orbison, and that had a similar thing, where Blue Bayou is not a specific place. It's more of a generic Blue Bayou, like happy place. So yeah, it can be like this idea that Caroline, whoever that is, inspired you, and you got a connection with them. So kind of an interesting idea. So I see some people have joined into the chat. If anybody has a specific question they want to ask, please go ahead. So I talked about, so that was all I was going to talk about regarding the song Sweet Caroline. The other thing I wanted to talk today about is this. We're in at least in the US, we're in this holiday time. So between Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, and it's a hard time because you may have work or other obligations that you have that, you know, you need to deal with, but then, you know, you want to figure out where does your family activities fit in, and then where does your time for yourself fit in. And so it can kind of go both directions. Some people will have extra time during the holidays, so then they can put more time into their practice, and other people will kind of go the other way and not have as much time. So my suggestion for the holidays is to figure out which direction, you know, you're able to go. So it can be that you you want to focus on maybe learning some Christmas songs or something like that. So kind of taking your practice into a direction that can also be fun for the holidays. The other can be that maybe it's just too overwhelming to do the practice, but you don't want to give up either, because if you take a long period of time off, when you come back, it's going to be harder to pick it back up. So I came up with this idea, and I've already talked about the 3-song a day idea. And if you're not at the point where you're playing songs, you could just practice 3 chords a day and then 15 minutes. So even set a timer. Okay, I'm only going to dedicate 15 minutes to this activity, and then play it for 15 minutes, whatever you're playing. It can be, and you can use that time for learning new songs, learning new strumming patterns, and learning other things, maybe specific finger picking styles, whatever you want to learn, and that can be helpful. So yeah, so those are the things that I'm kind of thinking about as we head into the holidays. And then sort of I wanted to bring up an exciting milestone for my channel, and that is yesterday I hit 100,000 views, which for my channel is like a huge milestone. I've kind of been building on that in the last few months, but I will be putting out a posting about that. But I really appreciate everyone who has been watching my channel and following my channel and commenting and engaging. So I really appreciate everybody for that. That is going to wrap up my Friday motivation. As far as words for the week, I want to share the word focus and kind of bring it back to that 3-song a day and 15-minute focus. So if you can continue to do that every day, you will continue to get better and better each day and each week and each month, and you will see progress. That's it for today. I hope you all have a great rest of your holiday weekend, and I will catch you next time.